All right, here we go. A little bit different now. The A Game Show with Commissioner Mike Racy, Chris Roush with you as well. And, sir, kind of we're changing up things a little bit because with your schedule, with my schedule, Mondays didn't always usually work. And we were filming MIAA Mondays on, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays,
Right.
whatever day really fits in with the crazy college sports season schedules.
Yeah, this midweek taping and the chance for us to connect on a Wednesday morning or a Wednesday afternoon, I think that's going to work out great, Chris. And it's good to be with you, and good to, I guess, officially this week be with this show, kicking off another year of college sports in the MIAA.
And you talk about it. I mean, we're taping this on Wednesday and get this out here later tonight. But tomorrow night, it is the opening night for college football in the MIAA. A lot of good games on the slate. Just what's your excitement level? I mean, obviously changes year to year. Just different teams and everything. But does your excitement level ever kind of change, or is it kind of like a what's going to happen this year feeling for you?
Yeah, it's a Christmas morning type of excitement, Chris. Um, it it feels like, once we get into this first Thursday football game in the MIAA, it's becoming kind of a little bit of a tradition. Our schools kicking off Thursday night before Labor Day. Students are still on campus, and football under the lights, and in the MIAA with 12 teams, everyone playing each other, we jump right into it. And there's no messing around with a non-conference game or a week zero game, or whatever
Right.
whatever we want to call it. We jump right into it with tomorrow night. I'll be in Maryville for Fort Hays State, Northwest Missouri State matchup. Our supervisor of officials, Phil Laurie, is going down to Pittsburgh, where Central Missouri and Pittsburgh State will tangle. I know you'll probably be at the Missouri Western game, and
Yeah.
they'll have a great one with Central Oklahoma. And so just really good football games to start the season. And yeah, I'm like a kid on Christmas morning. It's an exciting time.
How have you seen the atmosphere for Thursday night games kind of maybe evolve? Because it is fun to kind of have that kickoff. Because not all games, but a lot of games are that 11-1 kick, and sometimes you'll have some late Saturday games. But to put them on Thursday nights, the first couple weeks, is what does that add to, I guess, the MIAA football season?
Well, the last several years, I think 15, 16 years, the MIAA has led all of NCAA Division II in attendance. And football is a big thing in the communities in our where MIAA schools are located in Nebraska and Oklahoma and Kansas and Missouri, and our fans show up, and I think we do Thursday night for a couple of reasons. One, as I mentioned, the opportunity to do a football game that first weekend of the season, but to do it in a way where student athletes can, or I'm sorry, the student body can still be there.
Yeah.
A lot of students go home that Labor Day weekend, the 3-day weekend, a chance to, after being at school a couple of weeks, to go back home and see mom and dad and check in. So we want to take advantage of students being able to come out and support their teams. Freshman students getting a first chance at following their college team, wearing their college colors. But also, the idea of, a lot of our weather forecasts are still, this weekend, 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And while it's not necessarily football weather, playing on a Thursday night or a Saturday night, I think is probably smarter as it relates to the health and safety conditions for our student athletes. So the first couple of weeks of Thursday nights give us a chance to have it not be so hot and to take advantage of that early in the season. But really just the overall environment, the town uh, coming out, the community getting back together, rallying around football, uh, alumni, people in the community being able to come on campus, tailgate, that's really just what MIAA football is all about.
The other piece of MIAA football this season, we've talked a lot about it the last 6 weeks or so. Instant replay.
Right.
What's the feeling kind of going into the season with instant replay now that we're here and we're going to see how this works this season?
Yeah, as we talked about, we got a little bit of a late start. We put in our request to the NCAA in midsummer. We didn't hear back until early August that we had approval and everything was a go. And we've been working hard the last 30 days to make sure everything's in place. The company that we're using, Sky Coach, it's actually part of a larger company called Sideline Power out of Louisiana, and they've been great to work with. They put together training sessions with all of our schools. There is some technical skills required to set up the equipment, to use the equipment. So we've been working with operations, facility staff, the football staff, the people that will be filming the games, and making sure everybody's trained and comfortable using the equipment. We've spent a lot of time talking about the policies and procedures we need to use in the conference to make sure there's consistency from school to school and what we're doing. And then a lot of time with our referees, our officials that'll be working the games to, this is new for them as well. And so we've had them in training sessions. We've been using the replay equipment during scrimmages that our officials have been working on our campuses. We've had our officials have had access to the Division I video replay equipment that the Division I officials use and get ready for the season. We've had access to that, so our officials have been able to actually not only look at the replays and the plays that are sometimes in question, but also our white hats, the officials, the referees, being able to, how do they address the crowd? How do they address the coaches? How do they let people know there's a play under review? What's the right thing to say? How do you communicate that? So a lot of work, Chris. I feel good about going into tomorrow night. We'll probably have a hiccup or two that we need to address, but I think the schools and our staff and Phil Laurie and his team have done a great job in doing everything we can in 30 days to get ready to roll this out.
What is the expectation the league has for replay? Not so much of not having hiccups, but I guess what do you guys want to see at the end of the year from what replay added to the conference and football at this point?
Yeah, I don't anticipate we'll have a lot of replays every week. We're going to automatically look at every targeting call. And then our coaches will have up to 2 challenges. To have that second challenge, they're going to have to get the first one right.
Right.
And our coaches will be very strategic, when they use that. They know this isn't NFL replay. They're not going to be able to look at probably the placement of a ball on a first down measurement. It's not going to be that precise, but we're going to be able to, if our officials get a call wrong, that a catch should have been an incomplete pass, or what's ruled a fumble should have been an incomplete pass, or if we get, let's say we get a half dozen of those right this year that we couldn't have corrected last year, and we get another half dozen targeting calls that we review, and it's determined that they were just great football plays, great hits, and those student athletes are back in the game. Those are 12 plays that made everything we spent and all the time and effort we put into it worthwhile. And really even 1 or 2 of those plays that we're able to fix and get right. There's no one on the field more interested in getting the play right than our officials, Chris. So
Yeah.
they don't look at replay as something that's critical to their work or somehow intimidated by having replay available. They look at it as another tool that we have access to hopefully get right. And at the end of the day, I hope our fans look at this as just another way of the MIAA trying to be innovative and getting better. I think in many circles, especially at the NCAA, the MIAA officiating program and the job our officials do, it's looked at as the best. And the other conferences around NCAA Division II for football officiating, they want to be like the MIAA. They want to do what the MIAA does. And this is an example for us to be leaders and to test something that I believe can be a tool that other Division II and III conferences implement maybe as soon as next year. And it's really an honor and a privilege as a conference that we get to be that league, that conference that gets to test this out.
Absolutely. MIAA football season tomorrow night. Great slate of games, kind of gets things going and kind of feel the energy, especially with Missouri Western Northwest up in my neck of the woods. Kind of really looking forward to the season starting, but we've already had sports start in the MIAA. I mean, we've had volleyball, we've had soccer, cross country is gearing up, golf is going to get going, tennis is going to get going. I mean, the list goes on of what we're going to have, but it feels especially, I know, volleyball has a couple of big early season tournaments, and
yeah,
MIAA teams are all over those. I know the Premier Challenge out in Denver will have Northwest. I believe Central Missouri is in that one again this year as well. But it's already underway. It's still kind of getting used to that again, maybe, because I know 2 years ago we didn't have this. Last year was that first introductory back, and now it feels like we're going full speed ahead too.
Yeah, I think we've seen volleyball, soccer. I think cross country this weekend. Everything's in gear. You mentioned some of the big tournaments. There was a big volleyball tournament in Kearney this past week, and I know Kearney and Washburn both went 4-0 against good competition from other conferences in and around our region. So we love those great starts by great programs. There's high expectations in all of these sports. I think the most recent American Volleyball Coaches Association poll had 4 or 5 MIAA schools in the top 20, a couple in the top 10, and so the expectations are high, and certainly when schools like Kearney or Northwest or Washburn, Central Missouri, when they step on the volleyball court, there's a target. Every school in the country wants to beat them because they are the best, and they that'll help their program. Same thing in soccer, a UCM or a Central Oklahoma, the ability of a school to go head to head with them. So I think in our regional rankings in both men's and women's cross country, we had several MIAA schools in the top 8 in both of those regional rankings. So that's what makes it exciting to be part of this conference. Every sport, the expectations are high, and it's fun in these early season matchups to see how our top programs do against some of the other top programs in our region and in other regions in Division II.
You kind of look across, college athletics as a whole, and you probably see some conferences, not caring is not the right word, but not as much focus on certain sports. But it seems like with the MIAA, there's so many top tier programs across every sport that they're all kind of a focus at this point. There isn't a weak link, so to speak, of a sport that MIAA hasn't been successful at, right?
That's what makes it fun is that every season in every sport, we really have a couple of teams that have the ability to go and win a national title. And I was just on campus at a couple of our institutions the last couple of days, and talking with coaches, and the example was brought up to me that reminded me of softball last year. Rogers State finished third in our conference in softball, and then they went and won a national title.
Right.
I think last year in women's basketball, I think Missouri Western, I think they were fourth or fifth in our conference.
Yeah.
And then they go to the Elite Eight. So the message there for our institutions is very positive. You don't have to win the conference championship to necessarily be in the hunt for a national title. You've got to be competitive.
Yeah.
You've got to have a good enough year. You're going to make the NCAA tournament. But, a team like Rogers State finishes third and then goes and wins a national softball championship. And that's really what makes the MIAA exciting. We're not, we're not competitive in just a couple of sports. It seems like it's every sport. And we don't have just one or two schools that are great or dominate every sport. It seems like we've got different schools that excel in different sports and are competitive in everything. And that makes the MIAA, makes it wide open, makes it fun, makes it exciting. It's the reason our fans come out and help us lead the country in attendance. And it's the reason we've got, I think, some of the most fun and exciting game environments, whether it's a football game or a basketball game or a volleyball game. We've got some of the best game environments in all of Division II.
Before we get out of here, give you an opportunity to kind of talk about some new stuff for the MIAA, kind of at the home office. You guys may need more room and stuff down there in the office as well. A lot of stuff happening with the MIAA. As I just got another email as we're talking about Marshall Fay being – let me pull it up, actually, since we're just doing this kind of in real time now. That was good timing on your guys' part. Marshall Fay appointed to the NCAA Minority Opportunities and Interest Committee, too. So with that, you guys add another position down there, too, and also a partnership as well.
Yeah, just on the Marshall front, Marshall's very involved in, certainly the business and operations of the conference. But he's also, through networking and professional development, started to gain experience in regional and national opportunities, and serving on an NCAA committee. And the one he's serving on, Chris, is not just Division II. It serves all three divisions. So, those are the types of opportunities we encourage our staff here at the MIAA to get involved in, and proud of Marshall for that appointment. It's a big deal. But yeah, this summer our presidents agreed to grow the conference by 20%. Chris, we're going from 4 staff members to 5 staff members, and I'll tell you, a lot of this is on the heels of some things we talked about last year related to the Supreme Court decision in the Alston case, and more things that are really being changed in college sports and moved away from the NCAA, and really conferences and member schools finding themselves with more and more duties and responsibilities. So we were able to demonstrate to our presidents that we needed to add some help on the compliance front and on the marketing and sponsorships front in our conference office. And we're really pleased that right after Labor Day, a young man by the name of Anthony Ridoff will be joining our staff. Anthony is currently working for Drug Free Sports here in Kansas City. He is the primary liaison with Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball. He's worked at the Golf Superintendents Association before that, so he understands how a membership organization operates, and we're really looking forward to Anthony joining the staff. And then the other big news, we announced this week a new partnership with a company out of New York called the Shift Group. Shift is a group that tries to work directly with student athletes graduating that have an interest in the tech area, and they place student athletes. The Shift group places student athletes in really probably one of the fastest growing professional positions, really in any field, technology sales. They've had some success in the past in working with some of our former MIAA student athletes and helping them with tech sale related positions here in the Midwest. The Shift group, we started talking with them probably early summer, and we were able to put this partnership together where they're going to work directly with our conference student athlete advisory committee and making their services available to all of our schools. And then they'll have a presence at our basketball tournament as well, promoting some of the things that they do. And I'm proud to say, Chris, that we are the first NCAA conference that the Shift group has partnered with. So wow. It's a big deal. That not just Division II, but any division. So they came to us and said, we know about the excellence that MIAA students have, not only on the court and the field, but also in the classroom. And we want to help these students be successful after graduation. And that's what we're about. We talk about, preparing our student athletes, providing them opportunities to be successful in competition, in the classroom, in their community, and then also after graduation, helping them find whatever's next. And the Shift group will help student athletes from all of our campuses find that next opportunity.
You guys have been really busy, away from the field as well, yeah, in the court. But I will say, I know that press release probably came out, planned, but it seems like Marshall really wanted to crash the conversation and kind of make it about him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He asked me, where are you going, Mike? I said, I'm going to talk to Chris. And he ran in his office like he needed to fire something off. So, yeah.
Yep. Emailed to make sure that got going.
Yeah. And it was titled Breaking News, right?
Right. It just came right in and said, hey, talk about me. This is about me now. It's awesome for Marshall and awesome for the MIAA.
Yeah. We're proud of him. We're proud of him. And Marshall was responsible for this partnership with the Shift group. So he was able to put all this together for us. So he's had a busy summer like all of us in the conference office, but we're excited about a new academic year, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking with you from week to week or every other week, Chris, and catching up on things in the conference.
Absolutely. MIAA Commissioner Mike Racy, thank you as always for your time.
You bet. Thank you.